One day about 5 years ago, I woke up and it looked like invisible ghosts were squeezing my thumbs. My thumbnails look like this. And the short answer is, Google says you either have heart disease or lung cancer. Oh, wow, that's two really not good options either way, but MRI comes back that there's that little spot at the top turned out just to be phlegm. But the large-ass tumor in the middle was a problem. I got bad news. It's spread out of your chest and spread into other parts of your body, so now it's technically now no longer first stage, which they said they could just cure in like a couple months, no big deal. He goes, now you're in late stage, or what used to be called stage 4. It's right. We killed the tumors. How do we make sure there's no micro-tumors somewhere else too small to be detected? You know, because they used to kill off the tumors and you get cancer back in 5 years or so and drop dead. That's what my grandparents and aunts and uncles did and shit. Well, now they have Keytruda, which is immunotherapy. So they inject this immunotherapy into you. And this injection every couple of days. And it basically trains your immune system to search out these specific cancer cells and cells that look like those cancer cells. You know, and that's great in theory, but there's a slight problem. Whenever you hijack the immune system to do something it doesn't always want to do, there is a risk of a side effect, which we got some. But first they have to put in a port, a medical port, which is a plastic thing with some little dots on it and rubber on top and a long hose, a hose about like that long. And they put it right there underneath your skin. They cut skin, put it in there, and then they run the hose up in over your collarbone and into your carotid artery right by the heart. And so when they inject the medicine in, it goes straightly to the heart and doesn't run through the veins because the veins would destroy some of the medicine or it'd destroy the veins. I don't fucking know. It was bad. So this is how they had to do it for infusions. And I was like, okay, do that. So now I got a port there and they then, you know, jab the infusion in. And that's when I decided, well, okay, if we've already killed the tumor, and we tried chemo, that didn't work, and we killed the tumor with radiation. Now we have immunotherapy, my immune system, and if I can boost my immune system, it would be better. And the best way I know to also boost the immune system and make your body heal faster is with cannabinoids. CBD is a good start. But if you live in the right state, you can get Samson oil. I do not live in that state. But being who I am and who I know, I just picked up my phone and started calling everyone. I called like 7 people and told them I need Rick Samson oil as much as you can get. I have late stage lung cancer and I'll take a bunch of it. And that, of course, you know, sure, we'll get it. It's going to take some time. You know, that's a couple of months. And I'm thinking, I don't necessarily have a couple of months here. So by doing research on Google again, I was able to find that you can use edible wax because my doctor didn't want me smoking anything not because it damages the lungs, my lungs are clean, but because of Cryptosporidium, which is a mold that lives on all green products and everything else, and smoking it doesn't kill it. He said eating it does kill it. So he's like, you can eat whatever the fuck you want. And he's like, eat all the weed cookies you want all day. It'd actually be good, gain some weight. Yeah. I got fat, but not from weed cookies. So I found there's edible wax, which is wax that's been made with any petroleum product, because then it's already pre-cured or whatever, and you can readily absorb it through the stomach. And so I had to go get some of that. So I drove to Denver in between treatments. And I got my immunotherapy shot, turned around, drove to Denver that Friday evening. And I'm driving all the way there to Denver. I had a hotel room booked Saturday morning, went to dispensary. I had another friend with me, so she could also buy some. And we went in and bought the limit, which I don't know, is like how many ever grams per store, per visit, per day. So whatever the rule was at the time, I think it was like 5 grams per person. So we went in, but I bought 5, she bought 5. It was my money. And then we went to the next store, bought 5. Went to the third store, bought 5. That one said, we don't even want you don't even got to leave the fucking building. Bought 5 by 5, bought 5 by 5, bought 5 by 5, and proceeded to buy 300 grams of wax. You got cancer. It's cheaper than cancer treatments, So then driving back, and there's a snowstorm. Great. One of the reasons I brought the passenger with me and brought her was she knew how to drive a stick. But I'm not going to have her drive a stick through this ice storm. And I guess it turned out to be a hell of an ice storm, and we're following it back all the way from Denver, all the way back to Green Bay, in the middle of it, going evidently at the same speed as a snowstorm, which was 70, 80 miles an hour. All the other cars are going really slow, and I'm in the Kia Soul just cooking down the road at 80 miles an hour and passing state troopers that are only can't catch up. The speed limit was 80 there, but it's snow, and so they got their lights flashing, and I just whip right around them. I'm going 80, and they're going, well, depending on which car you were either going 55 or you were going 25. The 25 is the Camaro cop cars. They do not drive in the snow for shit, 25 miles an hour. And the other cop cars, they were topping out around 55. And that's for the Dodge Charger ones. They were going 55. And I'm in a Kia Soul going 80, 85, like it's fucking dry pavement. Dun, 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 dun. So I blow past all of them. I'm driving all the way back. And the snow, I got the wipers going. Stop at the rest area. And all of the forward-leaning surfaces of my car had ice on it. No big deal. I mean, they really fucking had ice on it. It was like over 2 inches thick. It was this thick on the windshield where the wipers were going. Where if there wasn't wipers, it was over 6 inches thick. On the edge, it was over 2.5, 3 inches thick. Around the whole front, the grill, the mirror, just on the forward edge. The top, sides, everything else is fine. This forward edge, because of driving through the wet, raining freeze and the snow, froze right on, and the pressure difference or something, I don't know, temperature difference, and it freeze right on solid. And drove all the way back with that on because I couldn't even pull it off. It was too thick and solid. I'm like, it's gonna have to melt off. It melted off a day later that night in the garage. I sat there, and in the morning there was like the whole front grill of my car sitting on the ground, standing up where I backed my car away. So, because it had slipped down, melted, and froze to the garage floor. So now I have all this wax, and I quickly found out that I do not like the taste of concentrate. Wax, any of that. Ugh. I don't like edibles for everything. Ugh. But you can buy hollow caplets. Order them online, stuff it in there, Now it's a capsule. Now I can just swallow it, and as long as I eat some food with it or don't belch, I don't have to smell or taste it. And I started a new regimen with that, which was and my doctor knew I was doing this, and he said, well, it can't hurt, so why not? The regimen was, when I was doing the immunotherapy, I point that's where my port was, that's why I point there. When I was doing the immunotherapy, I wouldn't do the weed product, the CBD, the Samson oil, or any of the wax. But because they would do like 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. Was for the immunotherapy. So you have the time off so your body can rebuild. And on that time off, that week, that's when I would take the CBD CBD, Samson oil, all that, to help rebuild all the tissues from the damage that it did while it was on. So he's like, well, you could just take it all the time, one man. I'm like, nope, I don't want to interfere with your medicine, with nature's medicine. And I'll use the both together in harmony, and it'll work. And, that was 5.5 years ago. So when doing my research, found, well, what's the life expectancy? How long do I have to live? And for late stage lung cancer, your 10-year survival rate, that's their big criteria, is 10 years survival, 10 years after diagnosis, is 1%. With modern technology and stuff, they expect that to jump up to 2%. The numbers just haven't caught up to statistics because of how they do the statistics are averaged in over time. I'm like, 2%, great. What's the odds if you get AIDS? Well, it's pretty much you're cured. You can live with it forever. Oh, so I would have been better off getting AIDS than lung cancer. Somehow that seems shitty because all my life I know there was like the American Lung Foundation working to stop, and American Cancer Foundation fighting cancer. Surprised they didn't find a cure for it yet. But that's what I've done. I recommend that. At least it worked for me. Fuck, I don't know. Better yet, just don't smoke cigarettes. Yep. Alright, well. Puff, puff, fast, no parking on the grass. I'm out of here. Whatever the rule was at the time, I think it was like 5 grams per person. So we went in, I bought 5, she bought 5. Then we went to the next store, bought 5. Went to the third store, bought 5. And that one said, we don't even want you don't even got to leave the fucking building. Bought 5 by 5, bought 5 by 5, bought 5 by 5, and proceeded to buy 300 grams of wax.